Everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Nikki Best. I'm the manager of corporate services and corporate officer for the District of Tofino. It is my pleasure to now call the 4:30 p.m. meeting of the inaugural meeting of council of November 1st in order. We would like to acknowledge that the District of Tofino operates within the territory of the Tla-o-qui-aht First Nation. And further, we would like to let everyone know, notice to the attendees that this meeting is being live streamed and video recorded and will be placed on the District of Tofino's YouTube channel. To begin our ceremony this evening, I would like to call upon representatives of the Tofino Ukulele Community Choir, who will be singing the bilingual national anthem.
Terre de nos aïeux, ton front est saint, ta fleur embryo. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true, no strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. It's our valor, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Next, we will begin our oath of office and the swearing-in ceremony for the newly elected mayor and council. All local government elected officials in British Columbia are required to take an oath of office as per their community charter. This is the guiding piece of legislation handed down to local governments from the province of British Columbia. These oaths reinforce the significance and special trust placed in elected officials by the electors of the District of Tofino, while highlighting the importance of honesty, integrity, and impartiality in all that we do as a local government and public entity. The language in the oaths has been prescribed by regulation and will be spoken aloud by each council member as I call upon them. As I call upon each member before me, they may choose to raise their right hand as they speak their oath. And once they're done, we will sign our oath together and then they may take a seat. To begin, I would like to call Mayor Dan Law.
I, Daniel Law, do swear that I am qualified to hold the office of mayor of the District of Tofino, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Well, sign. Yes. Thank you. That is cool. And I will keep this.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Okay. I have no particular order, so let's just start from this side here. Thank you so much.
I, Joyce Catherine Thomas, do swear that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, for which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. You have you.
I, Alan Anderson, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, to which I have been elected. I've complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Congratulations. If you want, you don't have to. Please don't.
I, Allison Sawyer, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all the rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Congratulations.
I, Sarah Sloman, do swear that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to the election of this office. I will abide by all the rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
I, Thomas Steer, do swear I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Congratulations.
I, Duncan McMaster, do swear that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Tofino, for which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Congratulations. As we now have a fully elected and sworn in council, I would like to present to you the mayor and council for the 2022 to 2026 term. Congratulations. Now that we have a mayor, we have a chair, so I will be stepping down and I will hand over the chair to Mayor Law. Oh.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna be long. Drink the water. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming. It's wonderful to see you all here. And it's an honor to be here. Tla-o-qui-aht is District of Tofino, Tla-o-qui-aht Which is a traditional new channel. Welcome for official ceremonies. So welcome. I just want to acknowledge that we're missing Chief Elmer Frank, who wants to be here and is going to be here on behalf of TFN, but I'd just like to acknowledge that due to some very sad losses in TFN, Chief Frank is not able to make it, and I will try to speak out. So I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank the outgoing council, Britt Chalmers, Councillor Britt Chalmers, Councillor Jackie Challenger, and that's it. So Kathy Thick, yeah, Councillor Thick, Kathy Thick for her. I was thinking, I also have to. No, I want to thank the outgoing councillors for all their tremendous work, and as council, the new council inherits the hard work and accomplishment of many councils before, and I do want to acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge the outgoing mayor, Josie Osborne, and Councillor Andrea McQuaid, because this is really the first full election. I came in on a by-election for council. Sadly, Dorothy Bart passed away, and also on a by-election for mayor. And so there's been quite a change. I just want to take this time as the first real mayoral address in 4 years to acknowledge all that's happened and all the people that have put time and effort into this community. And I want to congratulate the new council. I'm very excited to see you all here. It's going to be a great council. We have a strong council, and we have lots to do. And I'm quite excited to be here with you and work with you. Elections can be often about current issues, housing, recreation, etc. And these are all good things, and we think about them as we run, and the community also thinks about them and who they want to be there to represent them. And of course, council is going to deal with all these things. But I think the heart of council success is ultimately a commitment to and a striving for good governance. And you think, what is good governance and how do we do it? Well, of course, we have local government training that we're all going to to participate in, some for the umpteenth time. We put orientation to our organization and our departments. Some of us will be relearning and reviewing finances and how things work and what things cost and who does what. So these are all the technical parts of government. But I think there's more to good governance. Good governance requires thoughtful introspection, understanding basic human needs, and a commitment to the other. Good governance requires a knowledge of the greater culture and the world we live in. Underlying all good governance is a shared set of values, a commitment to mutual respect, civility, integrity, and honesty, which really are part of the oaths that we just swore and signed. And I think now more than ever, together, council, staff, community, we must learn what it means to govern well. I think the first part for me is underlies all of Western philosophy is to know thyself. Why are we here? What are we doing? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? And I know that we all had that question, when we ran for council. Everybody asked, why are you running for council? The Westerly News, why are you running? And everybody had to, come up with an answer. And I kind of condensed it down into wealth, power, and prestige. I was no, really, of course, the answer is that we care about our community and we want to make a difference. So, but why we do the things we do is not always clear. We do have hidden needs, unconscious bias. We have egos. And understanding what makes us tick ourselves is hard to figure out. We have shared needs as people, of course. I don't mean just water, shelter, food, but we have deeper needs. We all want to belong. We all want to be accepted. We all need to feel self-worth. We want to know that we're liked. As part of our self-worth, we want to be competent. We want to be agents of effective change in the world. These things are all good things, and they're core to what it means to be human. But these things can also hold hidden drivers. They can be twisted. I remember years ago, I got to be in the lecture with Dr. Martin Brokenleg, who was doing a lecture for Health Canada, and he was a sociologist, a counselor, etc., working with First Nations groups or First Nations communities, which I was working with. And he had worked all over the world in Africa, South Africa, with large communities of youth who were under incredible strain. And he specialized in resiliency, and he noted that North America is unusual, very unusual. The Western Hemisphere is unusual, and that in his findings, the average family unit was about 150 people globally. And the average family unit in North America is about 4. And he noted that these needs that we have of belonging and worth and competence were often exhibited almost pathologically, because at the heart of our community, a lot of our communities in North America, we are alone and we're afraid. And that was an interesting insight. And it made me reflect on why I do the things that I do. And it helped me. Self-reflection, know thyself. If I understand myself, then I'm more likely to be able to understand the other. Good governance requires that we not only seek to know and understand ourselves, but also to know and understand the other. The other includes fellow councillors, staff, public servants, residents, neighbors. Part of the elected official's job is to seek out the other, to be present without judgment, to listen, to understand. It's interesting, when I was running for mayor, I thought I knew a lot of people, and I was pretty popular. And but so I kept a little book, right? You know, I'd write down all the people's names I talked to. And there's 2,500 people in Tofino, and boy, it's hard to get to 200. You know, it's scratching to try to get those names down to 200. And it made me realize that I didn't know everybody. I really knew less than 10% of the population. So even though I felt that I did, I realized that there was the largest portion of Tofino I didn't know. And so coming into council, to govern well, I realized I had to work hard to get to know those people, to reach out, to be uncomfortable, and to find those people that I wasn't aware of. So it's to go to those uncomfortable places, to get out. Of course, we have data. I don't expect councillors to meet everybody. You know, we've got data, we have staff, knowledge to draw from. We have surveys, we have ways of meeting with people. But when I'm faced with a decision, I try to think how that decision will affect all the people of all ages. And I have a mental graph, and I think I start small and I work up. You know, how will this decision affect a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old in Tofino? How will it affect the people that are retired, the elderly? And so it's a way of reminding myself of the other. And I always try to think too of the hidden people, the people that are the most vulnerable, and the quiet crew. Good governance requires that we seek to not only know ourselves and seek the other in our community, but also to know the world we live in to a greater extent. And the world has changed. It's changed dramatically. The world my generation inherited, and the Gen Xer, is much different than the world my parents inherited. And the world my children inherit or will inherit is going to be much different again. You know, in the past 200 years, ocean acidification has increased 30%. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased 47%. Animal populations across the globe plummeting at extinction rates. And we see that here. We see it in our mountains and our streams. And so to govern well, we have to think of these things. We have to tackle them. The world is in trouble. So we really, you know, we must commit to good governance because we don't have time for anything else. But then where is Tofino in the grand scheme of things? We're a small town, 2,500. We have a little council. We're in the remote part of the world, you know. But we punch above our weight. Whether we like it or not, the eye of the world is on us. They're looking at us to see what we do, how we do things. We can govern well. We can do it. We can be a bit of hope. Together through courage, humility, a little imagination, a lot of hard work, through a commitment to good governance, the best part of our humanity can overcome the worst part of our humanity. If we fail, which is possible, we fail forward. Right? We just, you know, it doesn't work. We pick each other up, pat each other on the back and say, let's try again. So we could commit to doing that in everything that we do. I was thinking about this, you know, it always comes back to the golden rule. I was thinking good governance, but maybe a bit too quaint to say, you know, love your neighbor as yourself. as a basic rule for, being a group of people trying to make good decisions. I was thinking about this on the drive out actually just the other day, and there was an exceptionally long wait at Highway 4. Pouring rain, water was coming off, in a giant river. It looked like on the road, everybody looked frantic, and we were crawling along, and there was hundreds of cars, it felt like. So we got on the other side, I had Annalie with me. And then everybody on the other side after this long wait was going literally like 50 kilometers an hour. And I realized that I was saying things out loud because Annalie says, "What are you saying, Dad?" And I was like, "Yeah." I think I was calling a lot of people names, but so I had to try to explain why I was saying this. Well, I'm frustrated. Everybody's going slow, and I'm just feeling a bit frustrated. I'm trying to control. And she looked at me. She said, "Oh, Dad, 2 thumbs up. You got this." So, there you go. I got told off by a 3-year-old, but I want to say that to council. 2 thumbs up. You got this. We can do it. We have a great staff. We've got a great community. We have a history of success. We're set up to succeed, and with a commitment to each other, to good governance, to knowing ourselves, knowing the other, knowing our community and our world. We got it. Thanks. I believe now we have a poem from our Tofino poet laureate, Heather Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Thank you to the Mayor and Council for inviting me to write and recite my poem today. Thank you also to the Tla-o-qui-aht First Nation for the territory to live on. Thank you to the District of Tofino, who funds the Tofino Poet Laureate program, as well as the working group, whose their fundraising efforts also keep the program alive, and the Tofino Arts Council for their continued support. So when I was given this opportunity to write a poem, I was racking my brain how I can kind of put my experience as a teacher and my style of writing into today. So I kind of thought back to when I was teaching in a grade 2 classroom during my practicum about 5 years ago, and back to one of my favorite lessons, which was a social studies lesson, which was around the rights of all beings. It's kind of an extension of the rights of the child unit that we were doing. And the purpose of this lesson was to have each student see and feel the needs of the other community members on land, in water, and in flight, and teaching compassion to the students, teaching compassion to the students about beings who didn't have a voice. So each student chose an animal, they designed and they handcrafted a mask, and they wrote a little speech that embodied these different beings' needs. So we sat in a very similar kind of horseshoe, and we presented, each student's got up, they presented their animal, and then they sat down. So it's almost like a mock council meeting. So within this lesson, I guess I was teaching them the importance of listening, but also within, I guess, this poem, it's kind of seeing the future through the eyes of our future, which is the children of Tofino. So this poem is called The Council of All Beings. Imagine a lopsided horseshoe made from rectangular tables. Tennis ball feet protect the linoleum. Broken pencils hide beneath surfaces scratched with boredom. Grade 2 students seated in plastic chairs, indoor shoes suspended in air. Construction paper masks glued that morning. Wet glue, inches from eyes, oozes from imperfect angles. Folded into beams, gazing curiously at each other. A black bear stands to open the meeting, prefers berries over garbage. A mushroom shrivels under the October summer. A juvenile salmon, sea lice, feeding on skin. Ancient red cedar has escaped logging. closing the meeting till next month. Grade 2 students seated in plastic chairs, indoor shoes suspended in air. Remove their construction masks, forgotten into desks as the recess bell rings. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. It's wonderful to have a poet laureate. 6.1, we're moving on. We have some appointments and then we will adjourn. We have an appointment to the ACRD. And this is Dr. Tom, Councillor Steer is going to remain as the director for the ACRD. I will remain as the alternate. And then we'll review that for the 2024 year. So I'll move that Councillor Tom Steer be appointed as director and Mayor Dan Law as alternate director to the board of the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District and Regional Hospital District for terms ending the earliest of 1, council appoints another member. 2, the council member ceases to hold office. 3, the date of the inaugural meeting in the year of a general local election. Second by Councilor Master. All in favor? And then for those who haven't done it before, you just raise your. Perfect. And next, I have an appointment. And this is an appointment for the audit committee. It meets once, possibly twice a year. And I'll move that council receive the mayor's appointments of. Let's see here, Councillor Thomas, this Councillor Anderson, and Councillor Sawyer. So I'm going to go to last term. Anyway, to the audit committee for terms ending the earliest of when the mayor appoints another council member. 2, the council member ceases to hold office between the date of the inaugural meeting in the year of a general local election. Second by Councilor Master. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Then we get to move adjournment. And before we do that, I'd like to announce that council will remain in the theater for a few minutes for group photos, if there are any left. And the reception is being held next door in council chambers, and all are welcome to attend. So thank you all for coming. I'll move adjournment. Second by Councilor Anderson. All in favor? Thank you.
Perfect.